G'day Narrabri, hi. How you doing again? Going over the 4 pillars of well-being. First one is sleep, second one was exercise, third one was diet, and now we are on to social connectedness. Now there was a study done and it involved tracking a whole bunch of people from when they were tiny tots to when they were in their old age, and it was measuring their happiness. And so they discovered that it didn't matter if you were really poor and didn't have much cash, or if you were really wealthy, or if you went from being wealthy to becoming really poor, or went and became really rich, that it was the quality of your social connections which was the number one predictor of how happy you were. So what makes good social connections? I speak to plenty of kids and I say, so do you talk to your parents much? And they're like, oh yeah. And I was like, what's a conversation like when you get home from school? Does it go like this? Parent goes, hi, how was your day? You go, good. What'd you do? Nothing. And that's the end of the story. I ask kids if they talk to their teachers, and they're like, no, what is that? And so the sense of belonging that we have to a place dictates how well supported we are. So there's all different types of relationships. There's not just romantic relationships, okay? You're in a relationship with your parents, okay? They have to provide care for you and, at times tell you what to do. You're in a relationship with your teachers. You have a working relationship with them. Anyone who works in customer service, they have the customer relationship, which is, hi, how's it going? What would you like? Thank you. Please come again. Have a nice day. So the last one, school's kind of like a bit of a cut copy for getting you ready for the workplace. We learn a bunch of skills so we can get out there and do that. And so the basics of a working relationship, which is saying g'day to people, how's it going? Good. I'll catch you later. Thanks for the lesson. If we start having that conversation with our teachers, when we get a little bit older, when we're 16, 17 in year 10 and 11, we're closer to being an adult than we were when we were the kids who came in year 7. And, we how do you say this? The teachers treat you differently when you are in year 11 and year 12. Now, if you're someone who has ignored the teachers and haven't spoken to them at all, and you don't feel very connected, but you want their help when you get into year 11 and 12, they may be a little less forthcoming with that help if you haven't been the nicest kid. Now, they're not supposed to do that, but it's just natural human relationships, okay? But the simple act of saying g'day at the start of the lesson, even if you're a bit of a rat bag and you sometimes don't do what the teacher asks you to do, and then at the end of the lesson, you're like, see you later, miss, thanks for the lesson, okay? You're showing to that teacher that you acknowledge them, that you have a working relationship with them, and that you're building up them to be nice. So when they see you later on in life, they'll be like, oh yeah, that was that kid. They're not going to remember your behavior in class all the time. They'll remember that you were kind of nice to them when you said thanks for the lesson. That was okay. Now, that's one thing to do with school and how you can improve your sense of connectedness in the classroom, but we're currently in the lockdown. So how do we increase our sense of connectedness now? That is having, conversations with our parents. Now, in lockdown, our life doesn't have the timestamps that it used to have. It can feel like one continuous thing because we are at home. We used to be timestamped by leaving the house to go to work or to school. It'd be timestamped by coming home, and then maybe by going out and doing, some sort of sports training or other activity, or when your parents came home from work, with everyone under the one roof, and you're there all the time. So part of that sense of connectedness is having conversations with our parents, and I mentioned that, like, how's your day? Good. What'd you do? Nothing. One before. A way to change that is a little 3-question way of talking with people, and it's high point, low point, and what did you learn? So it's a bit of a sharing activity. You can do it with your family, you can do it with your friends, and you just go, what's the high point of your day? Now, it doesn't even matter if it's the best day of the year or the worst day of the year. That day is going to have something which was a little bit better than the rest. So it's a small way to let a window into your life, because if you're a kid and you're at school and you don't want to talk about all the difficulties that you're having or all the fun things that you're having and you don't want your parents to know about them, this is a little snippet of a way for you to choose that one thing which is, yeah, this is a bit better. Oh, this is a bit crap, okay? And this is something that I learned. Now, it doesn't have to be something you learned at school. It's every day is an opportunity to keep on learning. And the more we realize that we can learning all the way through life, okay, the more we have a flexible mindset, okay, right? We have a growth mindset rather than this kind of rigid way of looking at the world. So in lockdown, that's a nice way we can talk with our parents and with the friends that we do have, asking them what the high point, low point, and what we learned of the day was. Organising exercise to do with our mates. Now, this can be as an online challenge, like we mentioned before. I think currently we can leave the house to exercise with one other person, but you have to be socially distanced and masked up. Before you go and leave the house and saying, the school counsellor said I can do that, check the COVID information for New South Wales to double down on that to make sure, because anything at the moment is changing on a whim. So check that, okay? But that means that you could potentially go out and be at other ends of an oval and toss a footy. You could potentially, with one other person, go for a bike ride, okay? But you have to ask your parents' permission, you'd have to ask your friends' permission and do all those kind of things, and not while it's at school, while you're supposed to be on Zoom. The other one is a thing that we can do for our mental health is to have hope. So if we have something that we can look forward to, then it's really great. Like when you're planning to go on holidays, you're always pumped. Like when you've got something to look forward to on the weekend, you're going fishing with your mates, you're having a girls' night, you're like, boom, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like it makes it easier to get through that week. When it gets to the end of term and you've got holidays booked, you're like, woo, if you're going somewhere special over to the coast, visiting parents, visiting relatives, it can be really good. So planning something to do after this lockdown with your mates is a little celebration, obviously COVID safe, distancing with the right number of people, blah, 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 all those kind of things. Now, I know a lot of people had plans to go away in the holidays or they've got things on that have been cancelled. So plan it within Narrabri or the LGA or something that you can do, which you know, given how much they take away with COVID, that it's something that you can still do when things open up just a little bit, okay? So social connectedness, how we talk to people, having little easy win conversations, and checking in with our mates, doing exercise with them, whether that's online or through the correct COVID regulations, whatever's happening, and making plans for the future once we're out of lockdown. All right, thanks for listening. I'll catch you later. Bye.